Okay, we got our groceries. Heading home. Okay, so try to make this quick. You know how I like to blab. I don't have much of an audience, right? I still have just a few. Let's see, it's perfect. Okay, I just got a text from my cousin. So looks like my aunt's services, at least one of them's on Friday. That's the memorial, and then her burial will be next Tuesday. And unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to make either one. But at least I'll get to see Aunt Pat. At least I'll get to see Aunt Pat on Thursday at 4 p.m. So we're going to drive up to Cambria Wednesday, get set up, hang out for a day, and then I am, I don't think Babe's going to go. I'm going to go visit Aunt Pat and Susan, probably Nicole, and honestly, I don't know if I'll see Yvette or not, my other cousin, but at least I'll see a few people. So, anyway, all this shit's doing its fucking thing again. God, I fucking hate this thing. Sorry. Gotta get you in the shot, Roman. Anyway, so real quick. So, I've been applying for jobs, and I've been taking exams, and getting on lists, and all that. So, the latest is this. I had an interview last Monday, a week from today, and it was for public works for the city of Sanger. And city of Sanger is kind of one of those smaller towns, just outside of Fresno. Anyway, so I qualified for it, and this is back, I think I applied for it in February. And then I took an exam like, I don't know, a month or so ago. And, it's been a long process. But anyway, I had my interview, and it was a large panel of, blue-collar type guy, workers, and it's for like a kind of a semi-skilled position. And it's kind of broad, I wouldn't know if I was to get the position if I would work for the parks department, facilities maintenance, or streets. And I think this is kind of like a general kind of worker. Anyway, I nailed it. I felt really good about my interview, and really all I did was talk about myself, all my experience, and I know I can do the position. Anyway, the very next day, at closing time, 5 p.m., I got an email. Of course, I didn't see it until the middle of the night when I got up to shit. No, I hope she was a piss. But anyway, I was so ecstatic I couldn't go back to sleep. Right? I was happy. It's like to pass the interview, but here's the catch, right? This is where my my pessimism kind of slips in there. I had talked about, on this, YouTube channel about small towns. And by the way, again, Madera hates my guts. Like everything I applied for with Madera, they shoot me down. It's like, I don't know if I'm blacklisted there or what. Even jobs I qualified for. So I don't get it. Like I haven't even got an interview with that frickin' town. But I'm going to keep applying. But anyway, so I had talked about small towns practicing, nepotism, and, right away my head starts filling up with things like, this second interview is just a formality. They probably already, they probably already know the person that they want. And it's like, throw the other candidates a bone and we'll pick our guy. So that's what's in my head right now. I don't know what kind of interview it's going to be. I mean, if it is like one of those formality, if I'm going to meet with higher ups, I don't know. I'm just going to go in and be myself, right? And obviously I'm not going to tell them, what I feel about, my theory. I'm just going to try to sell myself the best I can and hope for the best, because I really would like this position. It's a nice little town. And I would be happy with, parks department or streets or facilities maintenance. You know, it'd be nice to go out there and kind of bust my ass, and you know, there's a sense of pride at the end of the day with dirty hands and, you know, sweaty brow and just dirty clothes. Just, you know you work for a living, you know, and I kind of miss it. In retrospect, I should have never left the city of Fresno, and I left on good terms. I left on my terms. I had a retirement party and everything, you know, but, you know, I had something else in mind. It did not pan out, and I had to start all over, man. And like I said before, it wasn't for naught. I, you know, met some new people. I learned some new things. I went back to school full time. I got my bachelor's degree, so I made the best of it. But really, I kind of miss that honest work, you know, and yeah, I think that's why I want this job so much. And, you know, if I totally shit on the second interview and I don't get the position, I mean, at least I'm probably going to be on some type of list, right? And I'm hoping that, you know, maybe if I don't get in, then maybe sometime down the road, they'll make room for me. I don't know. I'm a little, I'm anxious, I guess you could say. So, but anyway, wish me luck. It'd be nice to have that type of job again. In the meantime, you might also remember, I mean, this was actually back in February too, beginning of February, I had applied for the sheet metal union. I left the sheet metal union after 3 years. I was an apprentice, and I left to actually go work for the city of Fresno, and that also was on good terms, right? But, you know, starting over, you have to, you know, pretty much start over. It's like 20 years. I've been out of that trade for 20 years. It's not to say I can't do it and remember some things, but still, they're not going to just like, oh, okay, you're a third period apprentice. Go ahead and start. Nope, starting over. But so anyway, I thought I was going to be taking an exam within the first month or so. Never heard anything. I messaged the apprenticeship coordinator. Didn't get anything back. Well, out of the blue, freaking, what was it, 3 weeks ago? They scheduled me for an exam. I don't know if there was just that many people applying, and I just couldn't. They didn't have room for me, you know, for whatever exam. But I finally got in, and I took my exam this past Friday, and they test using the ASVAB test, which, if you have been in the military or, you know, at least thought about it, ASVAB test is just kind of like this general knowledge. It kind of reminded me of like a high school exit exam or something like that. But I think I did well. I think you have to be a real fucking dumbass to fail it. But here's the thing. They pull off the apprenticeship list based on how well you did on the exam. So, like, let's say I got 88% or something. If there is like 100 people in the 90s, you know, you might not ever get called, especially since, you know, they're going to have more exams, and then, you know, there's going to be more people come in scoring higher. Now, there is another foot in the door. If you don't become an apprentice right away, there is a position called a pre-apprentice, which I did that when I first started. I started off actually as a pre-apprentice, and I was a pre-apprentice for like a year and a half, I think. And I think the maximum is 2 years to be a pre-apprentice. So this is what happens. You have to, okay, let's say you're not very high on the ASVAB, and you get tired of waiting for them to call your name for an apprenticeship. Then you could solicit local companies that belong to the union, or who pull workers off the list, and you could solicit, hey, do you need yourself a laborer? Do you need yourself like a pre-apprentice? That's what a pre-apprentice is a labor position. You know, it's like a peon, yard dog, you know, driver, delivery, shit like that. So, and I started off doing that too. And I wouldn't mind that because it actually gets paid pretty good, So I just want to be working. So here's the thing. I had talked to my old boss, he was my old foreman, but now he's actually the superintendent for the company I worked for. Now he's got one more year left before he retires. So he says, if you get on the list, I'll see if I can make room for you. So as soon as I find out that I pass the exam, it might not be high, but if I pass that exam, I'm gonna call him and say, look, such and such, ex-boss, I don't want to say his name, I'm on the list. Whenever you need a pre-apprentice, you need somebody to, bring you coffee in the morning, give you a blowjob, whatever, I'm your guy. Anyway, so that's what I'm kind of hoping. I hope he can come through if I don't score high enough on the apprenticeship. But you know what? So at least I got a couple things, going, because other than that, I'm on like a 4 or 5 lists to be called for an interview. And, you're on these lists for a year. So I think it was a year and a half ago, I had got a second interview for the county of Madera, and it was for social services, and I thought I did good. And I thought I nailed it, to be honest. But I didn't get called. They didn't call me. And one of the things I thought was going against me is I was a man. Because there was quite a few women, and the people, there was 2 women on the panel, and one of them seemed nice, the other one seemed more of like like one of those types. I could tell she didn't like me, and it's probably one of those things where she already had somebody in mind, and she would have been my boss. Anyway, another thing is I was missing my 2 bottom teeth. That was when my teeth were going to shit and falling out, and I probably just looked like some fat slob crackhead, if that's possible. But I lost some weight since then. I have teeth, and I'm hoping that gives me some sort of advantage for tomorrow's interview. I think it kind of helped. Well, honestly, the panel that I had last week, they were the hardworking guys. They were the guys in the trenches, and I showed knowledge of being in the utility trades, working for a municipality. I knew pipe fitting and service work, and hand tools and irrigation and all these things. Like, I know I can do any of those jobs that they have, but I just gotta sell myself to be one, at least I don't know how many positions are available, and I'm hoping there are very few positions, but at the same time, the people getting the second interview have a good chance, so I'm nervous, but I'm going to go out there and just do my best, and we'll see what happens. And if that doesn't work out, hopefully I'm on a list, and we'll find out where I'm at with the sheet metal union. And from there, I just got to keep going, keep driving Uber, keep applying for jobs. I'm going to go enjoy my little vacation with my wife, and yeah. I'm just hoping for some good things. Anyway, so I guess that's all I'm willing to catch up on. If I have anything else to say, I'll probably get back on here after my interview, or maybe even before the interview. I'll show you how nice I clean up. Anyway, I'm gonna drop this little monkey nuts off right now, and then excuse me. We'll go from there. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.